Alright, I am tired of these headlines. Am I the only one who's confused by headlines about anything health related recently? I saw a video the other day of Dr. Michael Greger talking about how Coca-Cola is more healthy than quote unquote dairy milk. The catch here is that there's one reason why he thinks it's healthier, and that's a hormone called IGF-1. You might remember Dr. Michael Greger from the Twin Study Netflix documentary series. He's a plant-based physician and author who talks a lot about longevity. Today we'll break this down a little bit and think about this from a different perspective. Stay till the end because there's some serious information being left out here in terms of IGF-1. Before we start, I'm a normal person trying to make sense out of things. I'm never giving advice of any kind, and I think these topics deserve more open conversation. If you haven't already, please hit the like button and share this with someone who might find it interesting to help this channel out with the algorithm. So, what is IGF-1? IGF-1 stands for insulin-like growth factor 1, and it's a hormone responsible for managing the effects of growth hormone in our bodies. IGF-1 has important roles in growth and development, especially of young children, muscle growth and repair, bone density regulation, metabolism, anti-aging, and longevity, though there's debate around this, and helps to repair and regenerate nerve tissue, specifically the myelin sheaths that protect our nerves. Despite its roles in the body, Greger explains that IGF-1 is pro-cancer and pro-aging in the interview, and that dairy protein is responsible for high IGF-1 levels. Is it really that simple though? If we look at the study that he's referencing to say that Coca-Cola is healthier than milk, we can get a better picture of what's going on. First off, the study was of 11 men in their early to late 20s, so already you can tell that it is a very small study. The study was 10 days of drinking 2.5 liters of Coke per day, followed by a 10-day washout period, followed by 10 days of drinking 2.5 liters of semi-skimmed milk per day, all on a controlled diet. Even though their diet was controlled, we have no way of knowing for sure if the participants ate anything else in addition to the food that they were provided during the study. Being presented with this information, our first thought should probably be this. 2.5 liters of Coke or 2.5 liters of milk per day is an insane amount of anything to drink per day. Most people probably don't even drink that much water per day. And to illustrate this, here I am pouring 2.5 liters of milk into the biggest bowl that I own, and don't worry, I made yogurt with this afterwards, so I didn't waste anything. Something that Greger doesn't mention is that this study doesn't reflect the milk consumption of an average person. The authors actually admit this when they tell us, quote, "As only little research has been conducted in this area, we chose to study the extremes as we only intervened for a short period of time," unquote. In other words, this study can't inform us on the impact of, say, 500 milliliters of milk or about 2 cups of milk per day on IGF-1 or any risks or benefits associated with it, nor can it inform us on any effects for any period of time greater than 10 days.
It just shows how powerful the dairy protein can boost the level of this pro-cancer or pro-aging enzyme.
If only it were that simple. The same study says that, yes, high levels of IGF-1 are associated with some diseases like various cancers, but low levels of IGF-1 are associated with cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, and cognitive decline. What? Not only that, this other study says that some cancers show no clear link with IGF-1, such as lung, bladder, pancreatic, endometrial, and kidney cancers. And a few cancers even show increased risk with low IGF-1 levels, like liver and ovarian cancer. Greger himself says in a separate video that IGF-1, being a growth hormone, causes all of our cells to grow, which includes cancer cells. And here's where I want to inject a little bit of my own opinion a bit. Being from the manufacturing and fabrication sector, almost all the shops that I've worked at have had employees who got cancer, and some of these employees even died later on of cancer. In metalworking and manufacturing jobs, as well as other blue-collar jobs, we're exposed to higher levels of environmental pollutants and contaminants than other people might be exposed to. This includes solvents, acids, spray enamels, lacquers, metal dust, plastic dust, and whatever else you can think of. Though, if you're living in a big city, you're probably exposed to a lot of the same environmental contaminants. What frustrates me the most about this isn't the fact that, in a clickbaity low blow, Coca-Cola is being touted as healthier than milk just to promote Greger's new book. It's that IGF-1 isn't the primary cause of cancer. If you already have cancer cells floating in your body and your body's natural defenses can't take them out before they multiply, IGF-1 can increase their rate of growth, which is a bad thing. But what about the cause of these cancers to begin with? Also, what about the things that might weaken your body's immune system and its ability to fight off diseases in general? Why vilify milk by repeatedly saying IGF-1 is pro-cancer without so much as mentioning what the potential causes for some types of cancer might be, and while also not mentioning that some cancers aren't associated at all with high IGF-1 levels and that some other cancers are associated with low IGF-1 levels? Not to mention low IGF-1 being associated with cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, and cognitive decline. But honestly, this isn't really surprising. The Stanford Twin Study documentary on Netflix didn't bring up any counterpoints to the arguments they were trying to make, and Greger isn't doing this either. Maybe he's doing it in the book, but here he's talking about the potential negative effects on high levels of IGF-1 without talking about the potential negative effects of low levels of IGF-1. For example, IGF-1 helps our bodies build muscle, and increased muscle mass helps our bodies do all sorts of cool shit like metabolize carbohydrates and boost our immune system. What I can't really grasp is targeting a food that comes from an animal that has one ingredient that might be raising IGF-1 levels if you drink a huge amount of it, and strongly implying that, basically, this food will give you cancer without talking about the risks of anything else that actually causes cancer. But what do you think? Is IGF-1 all bad, or can it exist in an area where some of what it does in the body is good, while other times it can be a bad thing? Will drinking 1 to 2 glasses of milk per day have a detrimental effect on our lifespan? Do you think people should present the pros and cons of whatever they're talking about? Am I crazy for being a little bit upset about this? Let me know in the comments below. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Thanks everyone who's reached out via the comments and email. Take care.